Minnesota. What a throw by Fields. 37-yard gain. Timeout Vikings. 30-yard field goal try for the lead. The holder is the punter, Trenton Gill. Clock is ticking at 13. Good snap. Ball put down. Kick is up. The kick is perfect. The kick is perfect. And the Bears have gone up 12-10 with 10 seconds to go. And Justin Fields may have pulled off his third career come-from-behind drive.
The guys never wavered. Told the guys in the locker room, appreciate them for, sticking beside me and, believing in me. And, defense did a great job getting us the ball back for that last drive. And offense did a great job executing those plays. So it felt great and really just felt good of, fighting through the adversity, ups and downs of the game. Guys never got too high or too low. And, we fought and, finished to the end. So it was good.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is the Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Tuesday, November 28, 2023. Stephen St. John and Nate Bukaty with Marco Marquez and intern Marissa. This is her last day of internship number 2 with the Border Patrol. And so we'll hear from Marissa and find out exactly what she takes away from this semester with the Border Patrol. I know she's super excited about that. Aren't you, Marissa? Yeah. All right, then. Great. Enthusiasm. Later on, we'll talk to former Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Valerio and get his thoughts on what happened between the Chiefs and the Raiders and everything else that happened this past NFL weekend. Mark Borichter, former Chiefs wide receiver, will be with us in studio in the 8 o'clock hour. And then Jeff Chadia from NFL Network and NFL.com. So football. Lance Leipold usually joins us in the 6 o'clock hour. He found out it was Marissa's last day, so he has offered up his spot at 6:30 to Marissa, and he moved to Wednesday at 9:30. And so that was pretty nice from Lance Leipold to do that. We appreciate Coach for that's not why he moved. But
are we sure about that?
I don't know. I don't book the show.
Could be.
So there you go. There it is. Hey, look, Nate's back.
Hey, how are you?
No, I've been better.
That makes 2 of us.
I punched a hole in the wall today.
Because of me?
Partially.
Yeah.
Partially. That was yesterday. Was it? You know what? All these days start running together.
When you punched the hole in the wall?
I think so.
Which room in the house? Did you punch a wall?
There's just a room full of holes in the wall that I go in and they lock me in there, punch my way out of it.
Well, sounds cathartic.
No. Theoretically, I did. In my mind, I did. I don't think I could punch a hole in the wall right now.
I would definitely break my hand in half.
I've been under the weather since Saturday night. Sunday was... Sunday, except for the Raiders game, I got up to watch the Chiefs beat the Raiders. Why did I say the Raiders game? The Chiefs game. And that was fun. And I did enjoy watching the end of the Eagles and Bills game. But it's been, I think there's some things going around. So be careful, people.
Clearly.
Yeah. A lot of stuff going around. So you had the travel bug or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what happened last night. I just woke up in the middle of the night, dripping with sweat, chills, and
herpes.
It might be.
Yeah,
I doubt it, but
it sounds like a couple of the symptoms. Better check it. Yeah, I don't know.
I
think dripping's part of it.
Well,
I
meant
No, I didn't know what you said.
I'm good though. I'm ready to roll this morning. Lots to talk about.
I'm not. Bye bye.
You've got herpes.
I don't believe that's true.
You got to check for everything, buddy.
Right.
It's 2023.
Right.
You never know. Sometimes you do, but not always. How about this transfer portal?
Boy.
Man, oh man.
Talk about 2023. Tough to keep up with, isn't it?
Will Howard's leaving.
So after all the talk about the quarterback at KU leaving, it's the quarterback at K-State that's leaving.
Boy, You showed up at work today with a smart mouth.
Well, that's not me being a smart mouth. That's just what's happening.
I know,
right?
but it seems a little.
Well, we were all speculating, right?
What's the word I'm looking for? Like, huh? Well. It seems like.
Well, you're putting words in my mouth.
I don't know. You're the one that brought up after all the talk.
Well, there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of speculation, right?
Sure.
Who knows? Maybe someday Jalen Daniels will transfer as well. Who knows?
We're trying to run him out of town.
I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not at all. It's just that this is the world we live in now, right? I was very surprised to see this news about Will Howard. But it makes sense.
They got the Avery Johnson, the hot young,
right?
The next big thing,
right?
Let me. Who am I to look? Hey, K-State fans, you could be both. You could be like really grateful and thankful for what Will Howard brought to the program, but also very excited about what the next quarterback is going to be. Right. But especially in college football. I think sometimes fans can get into that cycle to where they're always, because of recruiting and how big recruiting is, you get in that cycle of you get all wrapped up in who the next guy is.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't stop. And I'm not saying K-State fans are doing this, but I mean, who knows? Maybe some are. I have no idea. And you just always assume, well, the next guy is going to be better. The next guy has 4 or 5 stars. The next guy can do this or could do that. The next guy is clearly going to be better. So let's hurry up and get to the next guy. When sometimes the guy that you have is what you need. And the next one isn't always better. And trust me, it is not the same case at all. But I feel like I have learned a very valuable lesson, because being a Mizzou football fan over the years, I was super spoiled when Gary Pinkel was the coach, because it went from Brad Smith, to Chase Daniel, to Blaine Gabbert, to James Franklin, to Matty Mock, to Drew Lock. That's a hell of a run.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? At least 3 NFL quarterbacks in there. I mean, Brad Smith had a nice career in the NFL, so you could say 4 NFL players. James Franklin was a terrific college quarterback. Matty Mock had his issues, but also had his moments on the field and helped get that team to the SEC championship game. So, but then it stopped, right, after Drew Lock. Then there was, oh boy, now what's going to happen? And then, along comes Brady Cook. And, hey, look, Brady Cook was okay last year. But you feel like Mizzou left some wins out there on the table. The offense left some points out there. Maybe the playmakers like Luther Burden didn't get the ball enough, whatever. And a lot of Mizzou fans couldn't wait to get to the next quarterback in Sam Horn, when many Mizzou fans couldn't pick Sam Horn out of a police lineup. Sam Horn he's in no trouble. I mean, he's not in a police lineup. My point is, no idea what he looks like on the football field or off the football field. But he's 4 stars. Sam Horn, let's go. Clearly he's going to be better. And we heard all this talk in the offseason that now, Brady Cook, he's winning the job. Chase Daniel went to camp with them. And remember I told you I got some feedback from some people that were at camp. Some feedback from people that know quarterbacks that used to coach in this league, that boy, am I giving it away, that, hey, it's Brady Cook and it's not even close. Mm-hmm. It's not close. Mizzou fans didn't want to hear that, right?
Right.
Nope, we want the 4-star kid. And then what does Brady Cook do? And I know Brady Cook has his flaws, he has his limitations, but my God, he helps his team get to a 10-win season. He was part of the 4th and 17 play that I was there to watch, thankfully, and Mizzou fans will remember forever. And I'll never forget him after being booed at that game, and then him talking at the press conference after that game, saying that, all I've ever wanted was to be the quarterback at Mizzou. I just wish more people wanted me to be the quarterback as well. And this is after they beat K-State with a 61-yard field goal. And then he said, maybe more wins like this will help change your mind. And guess what? More wins like that help change everyone's mind. And do you hear anyone say anything about Sam Horn or get me the next quarterback? No. You know what you hear now? Wow, am I glad Brady Cook's coming back next year. That's going to be one of the best returning quarterbacks in the SEC or in the nation. It is. With the most experience. And, you talk about stability at quarterback. That's terrific. That's great. I love it. I don't care. Hopefully they're developing someone behind him, but I'm excited to have him back. And I even remember, it's so crazy how things turn. Remember we had the conversation that you and some other people had mentioned, wow, isn't it crazy that, K-State and KU both have a better quarterback than Mizzou does? Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, that is. And let me tell you this. Right now, I would not trade Brady Cook for either one of those guys.
No.
Okay? And if you and I know the next thing that someone's going to say is, Jalen Daniels, he's wildly talented, this, that. One of the most important abilities is availability.
Yep.
And I watched Brady Cook play almost an entire season with a torn labrum in his shoulder. Now, maybe he couldn't have played a season with I don't know, what is Jalen Daniels' injury? Back?
Some sort of back injury.
But do we know anything specific?
No.
Hey, back. I'll be the first to tell you, back injuries are terrible. And to have to play quarterback, to play football with any kind of serious back injury, I'm sure is impossible. And so it's not the same thing. But he missed the season.
Whether it's because whatever the reason, he hadn't been
Right.
able to play a full season either in a year.
Back
Right.
is broken.
And so that's
A vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
I identify. But that's part of it. That's, hey, and I've most of Missouri is falling in love with that kid. But in college football, and sometimes you're right. Sometimes the next guy is better. Sometimes the next guy is going to take you to the next level. Will Howard won him a conference championship.
Mm-hmm.
Helped him. He was, right?
Yeah.
He was part of it. But I think Avery Johnson's going to be great. He looks good, but it's not always a sure thing, is what my point is.
Right.
Sometimes, I include all the fan bases, right? Because we do that, because it's easy to do that, because there's always a turnover. It's not the same as the NFL. You're always recruiting. Every year you're recruiting another quarterback. And sometimes we just need to slow our roll and appreciate the quarterback that's in front of you. And because it's not always automatic that the next guy is going to be better. Now, all indications are the next kid at K-State is going to be better, but it was wild to read some of the reactions to Will Howard leaving. I don't know. You're a guy that has had to butt heads with him over and over again.
Yeah, I remember you and I talking earlier in the year when Avery Johnson started to get some playing time, and we both were like, okay, this kid looks
electric.
Kid looks electric. He looks like he could do some things that Will Howard can't do. Now, I think part of the point you're making is, especially at quarterback, it is not about the biggest, strongest, fastest a lot of times, right?
That's exactly right.
It's about who's got the mentality, who's tough enough to, or whose body can hold up to playing game in and game out.
Leadership,
who makes the right decisions. The thing about Will Howard this year has been interesting. I mean, like, I think back to that KU game. He led the touchdown drive to win the game. He also should have had a pick six that probably would have lost the game for them. You know, he's had some bad interceptions this year. It's been an up and down season for him. Of course, K-State still won 8 games. You know, there's a lot of teams, a lot of schools out there that would love to have a down season, you know, where you win 8 games. I mean, I'm looking at his numbers, you know, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions on the season. You know, he ran for another 364 yards and 9 touchdowns. Put up some pretty good numbers. I do think, like, I think I remember you and I having the conversation, like, who would you start? You know, like, and we talked about it from the standpoint of which guy would you rather play against? And I think I said I think I'd rather play against Will Howard than against Avery Johnson. He seems that electric. So you can understand it. I guess it's a good problem to have if you can recruit players that are good enough that you basically, you know, a really good player who won a Big 12 for you feels like he's got to go somewhere else if he wants to play. But obviously, I think it would have been, I mean, if I'm K-State, it would have been nice to have him come back because the other thing is quarterbacks get hurt, right? I mean, things happen, especially when you let your quarterbacks run, and obviously Avery Johnson's going to run the ball a lot.
I think he deserves to be a starter somewhere. He's good enough to where he, you know.
Of course. The guy was a starting quarterback on a Big 12 championship team.
I'm real curious to see where he goes.
Yeah. That's going to be very interesting.
You know? So. But I do think there's going to be a lot more surprises coming in this transfer portal.
Right.
This is going to be wild. And I look at it from a very shallow point of view, just from someone that hosts a sports talk show that's a big college football fan that enjoys that enjoys the hot stove league in baseball, all the free agent signings and the trades and free agency and everything else in football. It's added that element to college football. I know it sucks for some fans, and I know it sucks for, hey, coaches, they get paid enough money to deal with this. They get to do whatever they want and leave jobs, you know,
right.
And job hops. I'm not really inclined to listen to their complaints because if they can do it, you know what, players can do it.
Yeah.
Players should be able to do it. But I think it's exciting. It's college football free agency.
Yeah.
You know? And like right now, if you're you would think Lance Leipold has turned Kansas into a super attractive spot for some. Let me just think between now and what if the situation was like 5 years ago. You know,
Right.
But look what he's selling now.
Yeah.
K-State's gonna always be attractive, and just like right now, look what if you want to go play at Mizzou for Eli Drinkwitz and play in that offense, or play for that defense, or play for those coordinators, you know, or if you're a skill position player, you want to go out there and play with Brady Cook and Luther Burden III. Look what he's got to sell. 10 wins and everything else. Mm-hmm. And so at least especially for the 3 local schools, it's going to be super exciting to see what happens in the transfer portal. I know some people shun it. I love it. But
I think it makes the bowl games a little wild too, right?
Well, yeah.
Who's going to be starting a quarterback in these games? Who's going to play? Who's going to sit out? For KU, I feel like there's a whole bunch of guys that are juniors that I'm hoping they come back to school next year. Like they could be considering going pro. I don't know. Hopefully the NIL situation makes them want to stay because they can make some money while playing in college still. But that junior class at KU is incredible. The defensive backs they've got, running backs. So, you know, I think that's all going to be really interesting stuff to watch over the next couple weeks.
All right. We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Why was everyone complaining about that football game last night? I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching that train wreck.
You did?
Yeah. Josh Dobbs threw 4 interceptions. And the Bears won.
I went 0 for 5 on my bets last night about that game.
Oh, did you really? I've had a fantasy football season to forget for the competitive pricks, because as you know, I'm in a very quarterback-focused league. You get 6 points for a touchdown pass, and my quarterback was Aaron Rodgers. So I had a quarterback for about 5 minutes this year, which adds to my hatred of him now. But finally, the sun was shining on me last night as I was down 10 going into the game, and all I had was T.J. Hawkinson, and that late fourth quarter touchdown gave me a 1-point win. And so, not going anywhere, but nice to get a win courtesy of T.J. Hawkinson and the Vikings. But then the Bears blew the game and they lose 12-10. Do you realize that is the first win for Matt Eberflus in the division?
Really?
He had not won a division game.
Wow.
Until they beat the Vikings last night. And the Vikings, I mean, they still do have that last spot in the wild card, but what a damaging loss for them. And the reason why it was at least somewhat important and does have some type of impact on the Chiefs is the Chiefs play the Green Bay Packers coming up this Sunday night in Green Bay. And now because of that loss by the Vikings, things have really tightened up as far as the wild card race in the NFC, and Green Bay's right in the thick of it. And so after Green Bay, and you wouldn't have thought like this would be the week that they'd make a huge gain on Minnesota, because going into it with Green Bay at Detroit and the Bears at Minnesota. You pick Detroit to beat Green Bay, and you'd pick Minnesota to beat the Bears, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the opposite happened. Green Bay went to Detroit and won, and then last night the Bears won at Minnesota. And so now when you look at the NFC playoff standings, the Minnesota Vikings have the last spot at 6-6. And so the division winners right now, Eagles, 49ers, Lions, the Falcons at 5-6. Their division leader. Mm-hmm. The wild card teams, Dallas at 8-3, Seattle at 6-5, and Minnesota at 6-6. They go into the bye week now. Right behind them now, the Packers at 5-6, the Rams at 5-6, and the Saints at 5-6. And so now the Packers can at least use that to motivate themselves for this weekend. If they win this game with the Vikings being off, they tie the Vikings for the last spot in the playoffs, in the wild card. They'd be, or at least time for the 7th seed. I don't know what the tiebreakers are, but they'd have the same record, is my point. And so it seemed like Green Bay a week ago was close to being dead in the playoff race, because I was sure they were going to lose at Detroit, and they'd come into the game with the Chiefs 4-7. If they're 4-7 right now, whatever. But now they're 5-6, and with that Vikings loss, just a half game behind the Vikings. And so now the Chiefs go into, and the crowd will, that's, I think it does mean something. If you go into a team that's just dead in the water with no reason to get excited about them, now the crowd, I think there'll be a lot of Chiefs fans there. The Green Bay fans can say, hey, look, we win this game, we're tied for the last playoff spot. Jordan Love's looking better. Their defense has improved. And so the Chiefs are not playing a team that's dead in the water. They're going to a team that's alive and well right now in the playoff race. It's playing better. And I do think that means something.
Yeah, I mean, I all of a sudden feel like the Packers are a much more legitimate threat. Jordan Love's playing best football he's played. So I'm guessing it's going to be really cold up there.
And that helped them last night. So
God, there's a lot of mediocrity in this league. I know that's the way they like it.
But if the Chiefs play Chiefs football and don't turn the football over, they'll beat the Packers. Man, I think we've seen enough now in the NFL, and just like last night, just the game between the Packers and the Lions. Too unpredictable, man.
That's the way they like it. I mean, you look at it, there's a lot of 6-5 and 5-6 type teams all across the league. And you're trying to figure out, okay, which ones, as you come down the stretch over the last 6 games, are going to actually put some separation, between themselves and 500.
I'm super excited to watch that game just for the atmosphere, the fact that it's Lambeau Field, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
And now you've got a team that's actually alive, in the playoff race in the NFC and the Packers. Let's go.
Yeah.
Chiefs will win. I think it's going to be exciting, but I can't wait. Let's hear from Andy Reid, who spoke to the media yesterday in his Monday morning Zoom, or early afternoon, late morning, whatever, after the Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-27. Marco, good to go? Here is Andy Reid with his opening statement yesterday.
It's hard to pick one guy. Obviously, Chris is the leader of that bunch, and he kept the guys going there, and then he had good production on top of all that, so he played well. But I thought as a group, the defense just played very, very good football. After those 14 points, they rallied it and made the changes or adjustments that they needed leverage-wise, and ended up coming out with a good game. And again, Spags, he kept all that together, and it's a tribute to him and his staff there for doing that.
Was that his opening statement? Or do I need to admonish Lebo? That's a super weird opening statement. Usually he updates the injuries and things like that.
And then he says, with that, time's yours.
Right.
Apologies. That was what was up on the computer. Maybe.
Let's throw someone under the bus.
They're just
I'm in that
playing
mood. Huh? Is it Lebo? Did Todd make a mistake? Let it be.
No, he
Let it
didn't.
be.
He didn't make a mistake. I should have double checked on something.
Mm-hmm. Double check on this.
He said something was somewhere,
Right.
and I assumed that it was already up.
Opening statement from Andy Reid.
Tuck on. We look forward to the challenge of facing the Packers.
Take it to the top.
Here it is. Opening statement.
All right. Don't have any injuries for you right now. Guys are just starting to come in. Listen, I started off yesterday mentioning about the fans, and they were phenomenal yesterday. We appreciate all that support on these away games that we get. I thought we started off slow, and both sides of the ball, and we were able to regroup, pick it up, tribute to the guys for not panicking, the coaches not panicking, and everybody kind of keeping their head and actually playing better as we went through the rest of the game after the 14 points. And so defensively, it's hard to pick one guy. Obviously, Chris is the leader of that bunch, and he kept the guys going there, and then he had good production on top of all that, so he played well. But I thought as a group, the defense just played very, very good football. After those 14 points, they rallied it and made the changes or adjustments that they needed leverage-wise, and ended up coming out with a good game. And again, Spags, he kept all that together, and it's a tribute to him and his staff there for doing that. And then offensively, I felt again, we started off slow for the first couple series, and then things picked up, and it's a tribute to Pat and Pacheco and Kels, and how they and they just kept everybody going and with their energy, and and it ended up working out. I thought the offensive line did a pretty good job, even when we weren't getting the drives we wanted. I thought they're doing a nice job up front against a good defensive line. So as an end result, those three guys had a nice day. The offensive line had a nice day. When it was all said and done, and we were able to score in the second half, which we hadn't done there for 3 games. I thought Nags had a great game plan, and the execution by the coaches, they did a nice job with their input on the plays. So all in all, good day on the offensive side and defensive side, and then special teams. I think did a nice solid job on special teams. Field position was good. We had to fill in that punt return position and kickoff return position, and I thought the guys did a good job there, stepping up. Richie securing the ball, which was important, and then Sky and Richie on the kickoffs. They did a nice job with with what they needed to do back there to follow Dave's plan there.
Now that my friends is an opening statement. Huh?
That was more like it.
That's exactly right. We'll take a break. We'll play some more Andy Reid in the 7 o'clock hour. Up next, we'll talk to Marissa about her. What did she just give me a dirty look for? What the hell was that for?
Man.
What did you just glare at me for? I wanted you to come in here and talk about your internship. Maybe not. Wow. Doesn't seem like
her
she's
little
really,
airtime,
right? Huh? That's all. I do want to mention that today I'll be the guest speaker at the Tiger Club of Kansas City at the Westport Flea Market. So come on down there. Program starts at noon. Buffet opens at 11:30. Pay some money, see me, eat food, and we'll just repeat 10 and 2 over and over again. I'll do that into the microphone and then throw the microphone down and eat. How about that? Yeah. And then we'll play a game called Bold Projection. We'll do bold projections for 1 hour straight and talk about those. So come and see me. Always fun to go see my friends at the Tiger Club of Kansas City, the Westport Flea Market. Today I'll be there. Buffet opens at 11:30, and then the program starts at 12. Come down there and join the Tiger Club. Also, as I told you yesterday, tomorrow at 7:30, if you have been a listener of the Border Patrol, if you enjoy this show, or even if you don't, whatever, if you listen to it, we're going to have a special announcement about the future of the Border Patrol tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. So I encourage you to listen. We would love it. And join us for the announcement. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Okay? You have to guess. Although I think if you've been paying attention, it's not going to come as a huge surprise, but, See that wall? There's been writing on it for a while. Writing's been on the wall. So, and don't nobody be sad. All right? Mizzou has 10 wins, and the Chiefs are going to be the number 1 seed again. There's no reason to be sad. All right? Be happy. KU's going to a bowl game. K-State's going to a bowl game.
There's a lot to be happy about.
Yeah, that sure is. But tune in tomorrow at 7:30 for a special announcement about the future of the Border Patrol. We'll take a break. Back after this on WHB. Welcome back to the Border Patrol. I'm sure I'll get ridiculed for this. What else is new? But I love live music. I love going to concerts. And I don't always rank hey, this was the best concert I've been to. That was the, second best concert I've been to. I think about certain songs and what the crowd reaction was and how, a live performance of I remember the first time I saw Kiss and when they closed the show with rock and roll. I want to rock and roll all night. And it was just great, right? Confetti was going everywhere. So, one of my favorite songs I can remember perform live. One particular performance of Billy Joel singing Piano Man when I was a kid, when I was with my mom, that sticks out to me. Certain songs that just get the right reaction from people. When she closed the show with this song on Friday night,
I bet it was amazing.
And there were so many people dressed up in Christmas stuff, and then she had I think it might have been two of her kids, but a bunch of kids dancing dressed like elves, and she was on a sleigh. She was all dressed up, and then it started snowing, fake snow inside of T-Mobile, and Santa Claus in the background, and all this. And you looked around, and everyone was so happy. Everyone had the biggest smile on their face, dancing.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I'm with my daughters, and this. I'm sorry, I love this song.
It's a great song.
But and she's singing it, and it's got all this eye candy everywhere. Giant candy canes dancing and everything else. It was overwhelming the senses. But everyone was up on their feet and just so happy,
I'm so jealous. I wish I would have been able to go.
And just for that, and let me tell you, that's rare. It's rare nowadays, right? For that moment, I was just in the middle of sheer happiness.
Yeah.
It was so cool, and it was so fun, and just even looking at the people we're with, the people in front of us, everyone was just it was great, and you knew she was going to sing it,
right?
And she just done.
There's probably a lot of people. That's the whole reason they went.
Right.
Was to hear her sing that song.
But she did a whole list of Christmas songs, and then she did a selection of a few of her hits, and then she sang the full version of "Hero," which is a great song, and then she closed the show with that, and it was I don't know, just for that 4 or 5 minutes. I was like, this is
awesome.
Yeah, you would have loved it. I was like, this is the Christmas spirit. I could feel. Everyone's just happy. Everyone's hugging, and I don't know.
Kelly and I wanted to go. That's Kelly's favorite Christmas song by far, which makes it one of my favorite Christmas songs because I like seeing her that happy. Every time the song comes on, she lights up.
I fell in love with it because my favorite Christmas movie is Love Actually.
We were just watching that, me and Kelly, on Friday because we couldn't go to the concert. We watched it on Friday.
They're bringing that back to the theaters for Christmas.
Man, what
I think
a
I might
movie.
go. I love that movie.
It's a funny story behind that, I guess. When Kelly and I first started dating in 2004, I always had wanted to go on a cruise. I'd never been on a cruise, and I didn't have any money at all,
A
and
booze
so
cruise?
yeah. So I was like, we should do a cruise together, and so we both did, and we did the cheapest option for a cruise you could, and it's funny looking back on it because we'd only been dating for a few months. We could have hated each other by the end of that thing. The weather was terrible. The whole time it was cloudy and windy and all this stuff. So the sea was rough. I was getting kind of motion sickness. And then one of the days we were supposed to dock at some island, the water was so choppy that they couldn't dock the boat. So we spent the whole day at sea. And it was this time of year. It was it was in middle of December. So the boat was all the cruise ship was all done up in Christmas stuff. We spent the whole day at sea, and it was too cold to go up on the deck and all that stuff. So we sat in our room, and Love Actually was playing on the little TV in your room on the cruise ship. And it just goes to show that we were right for each other because we just hung out in the room and watched that movie, and it's this kind of funny, happy memory, even though it was a disaster of a trip because we enjoyed the time together. But that was the first time I'd ever seen Love Actually. And it was perfect because it was Christmas time and all that stuff. It's such a good movie. So they're putting in the theaters again, huh?
There's like a couple of dates it's going to play in December. I think I might go. One time at a hotel bar, I told Billy Bob Thornton that I loved him in Love Actually, and he said, "Well, thank you."
I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
Oh man, the best line that I remember is when is it Liam Neeson, right? That
Yes.
Is talking to the little boy, and he thinks there's something really wrong, and he's like, "I'm in love." He said, "Oh God, I thought it was something worse. Something worse than the total agony of being in love."
It's a great movie.
It's a great line.
Netflix, Marissa. Netflix.
Now,
Noted.
go see it at the movie theater.
Okay, I love going
Yeah,
to the movie.
see,
I
that's
want to
what I'm
go
talking
see the new Hunger Games movie.
I saw it on Thanksgiving night.
Was it good?
Yes.
I heard it was so good.
I went. Okay, so that was the movie that me and Susan and the twins and both the boys all agreed upon. Like everybody, yeah, and like I wanted to see it because I love Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
So I go see that movie, and then the girls like whoever this boy is in it.
PETA. I don't know what
Who
his
this boy is.
I don't know what his real name is, but
He's a heartthrob.
He's cute.
Yeah.
he's a
you know.
cutie.
Yeah, and the girl, they like the girl. She was in the new West Side Story, and she sings. She's very talented.
What's her
Rachel
name?
Zegler.
Okay,
and
there you
Tom
go.
Blythe.
Okay, yeah.
That's the guy.
Who's the guy that they like?
Tom Blythe.
I've heard enough about him already. But I was there for, and Peter Dinklage was good.
Yeah.
He was good. But no, it was really good.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, and so everyone agreed that it was good. And so go see it. It was
Will
fun.
do.
It also
was a
gave
fun movie.
Steven an excuse to leave the Thanksgiving party because I got movie tickets.
Right. No, you know what? It was, I can't remember the last time all of us went to a movie because our schedules, you know what I mean?
It's probably also hard to find one that everybody wants to see.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marissa, the intern, is in studio because this is your last day of internship number 2.
Sad.
So now, when do you graduate?
May. Like this coming
For
May.
sure.
May 2024.
There's no ifs,
Nope.
ands, or buts. You're
Nope.
in.
I got no more credit hours to
Okay.
take.
And so how did they react? And you're graduating from UMKC.
Yes.
And your degree is?
Communication studies with an emphasis in digital journalism and media.
Thank you. How did they react when you say, hey, I'm going to go back for a second semester internship at Sports Radio 810?
Well, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't even know if my internship director, even knows that I've done it
Right.
twice. I think she just has a lot of other things
Yeah.
going on and a lot of other students to worry about. But I told her, I was like, yeah, this is my second time here and it's going great and stuff. And she was like, oh, you've taken this class before?
Yes. Well,
I was like, oh yeah, I
Too
took
late.
it last summer, but yeah. And she was like, oh, are you liking it? I mean, I would assume you like it if you went back a second time. And I was like, yeah, it's great. I love it.
so what do you think you've learned with your 2 internships here at Sports Radio 810? What do you take away from this?
I mean, I've learned a lot because I've gotten to see a lot. I got to see, my first
You've
day.
seen a lot, I feel like, maybe.
My first day, I got to do the remote broadcast with you.
Right. Where was that at?
The National.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That was
I
my
remember
very
that.
first day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So that was really cool. I got to do the golf tournament for you guys.
What did you learn here under Marco's tutelage? Oh, boy. You have to think about that for a little bit.
I just feel like I've had so many conversations, just me and Marco back there, and then I have the conversations with Nate. Nate will always come in and give me the life advice.
He will, won't he?
So
Whether
Very
she asked for
lengthy.
it or not.
exactly, but
advice.
it's very good advice.
I
and-
lead by example. I try,
Exactly.
so that's,
Mostly
Exactly.
I'm trying to just make you, reassure you that everything's going to turn out okay.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of stressful, isn't it? Like the real world
it's
6 months away.
So stressful.
Yeah.
And
But you're going to be fine.
I had sent my dad something, and it was about this job that had an opening or whatever and stuff. And right after I sent it to him, of course, I get a phone call and I get a whole lecture about, oh, well, you still have 6 months to figure it out, so just don't jump into something, blah, 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 blah. But I was like, everyone's stressing me out because I have half the people telling me you need to figure out what you want to do right now, and then I have the other half telling me that you have 6 months until you graduate. And
You got all the time in the world.
yes, that's basically what he was kind of telling me last night.
Some of us are still figuring it out.
Right.
You probably will be for the rest of your life.
Nope,
you
and
know?
that's totally fine. I'm totally okay with that. Not really, but kind kind of just stresses me out.
You'll now you find something that you enjoy.
That's what I'm
You know what I
trying
mean?
to do.
And look, and let me go ahead, and I hate to be a spoiler here, but whatever job that you take right now is not going to be your last job.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna have different experiences. You're gonna go and have some. You're gonna have some really good jobs. You're gonna have some jobs that you hate.
Yeah.
That won't work out. But ultimately, you're smart enough, and I think you are talented enough where you'll land somewhere ultimately that you'll be happy, right? And then you'll be able
hope
to.
so.
Yeah, I think you will. And then you'll be very successful. And also, you have a great family backing you up, right?
Thank you. Yes, I do. I do.
And your brother can get you frequent flyer miles, can he?
Exactly.
So,
I'm not a big flyer though.
Can we say what airline he works for, or is that?
I think so.
Where does he work at?
American Airlines.
Because we're friends on Facebook, and so I get to see he's traveling all over.
He's all over. Apparently, he's going to Paris for Christmas.
Wow.
See, now he wasn't, because he used to see her. So her brother, for his claim to fame at one time, I believe he was a supervisor for Phil St. John at Dominic's.
That'd be correct.
Big Tom's place.
Yeah.
And then I think he kind of trained under her brother and learned the ropes, and then he left. And like was he always going to work for an airline or whatever?
No, he started in college. Like I think he was gonna go. I think he was a business something.
But my point is, it seems like he found something. It seems like he loves it, right?
He loves it because he didn't love the whole school thing and wasn't for sure what he wanted to do. Kind of jumped around to a few different schools, but then I don't even know how this came about. Like he's always been he loves like not engineering, like he loves planes, and when we'd go to Disney World he
loves to travel.
The travel, I don't even know how transportation,
right.
I guess. He likes all that, and he likes cars.
He
and
loves
stuff.
transport.
Yeah.
Like Borat does. No, but like sometimes my point is an unexpected path.
Yes.
And now he loves it, and he's found his career.
He loves it.
And
yeah.
so maybe like the career that you're not even thinking about it right now.
I know.
It's not even on your radar, but you find it, and then it's going to be great.
Well, because that's the thing. I haven't even like exactly put a point on exactly what I want to do. Like I haven't just said like, man, I couldn't tell you what my dream job is. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
What do you think you want to do? Like, what are some possibilities?
I mean,
maybe a possible employer is listening to this show right now.
I worked for the Royals for 2.5, 3 years.
And what did you do?
I was on K Crew. I know that's not like a really like a.
That's a fun job.
I mean, it's a fun job.
But it also
yeah.
says something about your personality. You're outgoing.
And
you have good communication skills.
Yes, and I feel like I made a lot of connections while I was there. The people that I worked with, like I'm still friends with to this day, and like my bosses and stuff, like they were all amazing. I'm friends with all of them on LinkedIn and stuff. So like, I really did like working for the Royals and like the Royals organization and stuff. And
I wish they would have let you run their drafts.
wouldn't that be
You
nice?
had some pitching.
Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're fine.
apologize.
But I really liked that work atmosphere and stuff. And I always kind of, after trying out for K Crew, I always told myself like, oh, after I'm done with K Crew and I graduate college, like I want to do something here, whether that's marketing or whatnot. But I know that's also a very competitive place to get into. So, but
Don't let that scare you away.
I
You
know,
get out
I'm-
there and compete.
I know, I'm
You're a
trying.
Border Patrol intern. We have a
Correct.
lengthy trail of success left by former interns.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
limit yourself.
That
We
I
do,
would
don't we?
say
Our interns have been pretty
Oh, heck
successful.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
I would say as of right now, that would be my dream workplace.
What's that?
Working for the Royals.
Okay. Like in marketing?
So that was one of the jobs that I was talking to my dad about because I was on LinkedIn, just kind of scrolling through and stuff, and
Right.
I saw a digital marketing coordinator position.
Royals hire.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds like exactly something that I would want to do, and say that there's not even just that position. I was like, something along these lines or something within their marketing, communications, media relations, like anything. But so, I mean, I did apply, but I don't know. We'll see.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.